Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into, well, it's a really interesting topic, the experiences of autistic individuals.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, specifically, around code switching and masking.
Okay.
And our guide for this deep dive is an article called Autism and Code Switching and Masking from Cheap ABA.
Intriguing stuff.
It is. It's like, we all know about like fitting in and
Yeah.
maybe changing how we act a little bit depending on who we're with.
Right.
But for a lot of autistic people, it goes way beyond that.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine what if every social interaction felt like you were, I don't know, like on stage,
Right.
having to like carefully think about every word and gesture. That's code switching and masking.
Wow.
Code switching is like, it involves shifting between different social code or whatever, depending on the situation.
Right.
And it's, more than just adjusting your tone of voice. It's
Yeah.
like, consciously altering your behaviors and the way you communicate. Yeah, to fit in.
And masking takes that even further, I think.
It does.
Right.
Masking is about, actively concealing those autistic traits
Oh, wow.
to avoid, I don't know, being judged or, ostracized.
Right.
You're constantly trying to appear neurotypical,
Yeah.
even if it means, hiding parts of yourself.
Yeah, you're not really being yourself.
Exactly.
It makes you think about, like how much effort that must take.
Oh, absolutely.
We take it for granted, just, being ourselves in social situations.
Yeah, it can be really demanding.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just mentally demanding, but it can actually, have some pretty serious consequences.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, for your mental and physical health.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Your article mentions, some pretty serious impacts. What are
Right.
we talking about here?
So, like, imagine the stress,
Mm-hmm.
of constantly being on like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it can lead to anxiety or depression. It can
Wow.
even lead to chronic fatigue. It's like your body's always, in overdrive,
Yeah.
trying to, I don't know, manage this social performance.
It's kind of heartbreaking to think about.
It is.
And then it's like this vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
You mask to fit in,
Right.
but then that prevents you from forming, real connections,
Yeah, exactly.
which makes you feel even more isolated.
It's like a constant push and pull,
Right.
You want to connect,
Yeah.
but you also feel like you have to, hide who you are to be accepted.
Oh, I see.
And that can lead to like an identity crisis.
An identity crisis.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. If you grow up, feeling like you can't be yourself,
Right.
it can make it really, really hard to figure out who you actually are.
Wow.
Imagine constantly, questioning your identity because you've had to like suppress yourself for so long.
Yeah.
That's a lot to carry around.
It really is.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how much is at stake here.
It does.
But the article, I mean, it doesn't leave us on a, totally negative note.
No.
Gives us some solutions, right?
Right. It outlines, I think it's 4 key strategies to
Gosh.
break free from this whole cycle.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm eager to hear about these.
Okay. Well, the first one is self-acceptance.
Okay.
Embracing your, autistic traits as part of who you are.
Right.
Not something to hide.
I imagine that's easier said than done.
It is. It takes effort.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful when
Yeah.
you accept yourself.
Yeah.
You reduce that need to mask because you're not trying to fit into, I don't know, this mold that wasn't made for you.
You're owning your unique way of being.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that self-acceptance paves the way for, the second strategy.
I'm good with that.
Seeking out autism-friendly environments.
Okay. What would that look like?
It's about creating spaces, where people feel safe and accepted for who they are
Right.
without feeling like they need to mask. So this can include things like sensory accommodations,
Like what?
some like quiet spaces
Mm.
or adjustable lighting
Yes.
to minimize sensory overload.
Okay.
But it's deeper than that.
More than just the physical space.
Yeah, you need to foster a culture of understanding,
Yeah.
acceptance,
Yeah.
having like clear communication guidelines, having systems that, are flexible to people's needs.
Oh, I see.
Making inclusivity, like a core value.
Yeah.
So we've got self-acceptance, autism-friendly environments.
Uh-huh.
The third strategy, building a strong social support system.
Okay.
This could be, friends, family,
Oh, nice.
therapists, support groups, even online communities,
Right.
people who, understand and accept you.
Yeah, it sounds like that safe space to let your guard down.
Right. You can just be yourself.
Yeah.
No need to perform.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
It does, doesn't it?
So what's the final strategy?
Self-care.
Self-care. Okay. What does that look like in this context?
Recognizing that these behaviors, take their toll
Yeah.
mentally, physically.
Right.
Taking steps to manage that impact.
Okay.
Could be mindfulness practices, could be hobbies, getting enough sleep,
Yeah.
spending time in nature.
It's about prioritizing your well-being.
It is.
Because it's so easy to forget that when you're, constantly navigating a world that's that isn't really built for your needs.
It's not always easy.
Yeah. And it's cool how these strategies are all interconnected.
Oh, they are.
Right. Like self-acceptance can lead to supportive relationships.
Right.
Which can lead to prioritizing self-care.
It all works together.
And all of that helps you to, be in environments that maybe aren't so autism-friendly.
Right.
Because you have those other things to kind of fall back on.
Exactly.
It's not just about the individual strategies, but how they, work together.
Yeah, it's like a system.
Yeah.
To make a more sustainable way of, being. Yeah. And this brings us to a really important question.
Okay.
What can we do as a society to lessen the need for these strategies in the first place?
Yeah, what can we do to make it so people don't need to mask?
Exactly.
And I think that's a great place to jump into the next part of our deep dive.
Perfect.
We've, talked about the individual experience.
Right.
But now let's zoom out.
Okay.
Look at the big picture.
I like it.
So stay tuned.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we talked about the individual experience.
Right.
Those strategies, code switching, masking, all that.
Yeah.
But now I want to zoom out.
Okay.
What can we do as a society?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. It is.
I think a good starting point is recognizing that for a lot of autistic people, this isn't like a choice,
Oh, what do you mean?
It's a survival mechanism.
Oh, wow.
They have to do it.
Because the world isn't always welcoming.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're always facing, negative reactions to just being yourself,
right,
that makes sense to adapt.
Right. Try to blend in.
Yeah, try to fit in.
So it's almost like we're creating the conditions that make this necessary.
You could say that.
Yeah.
So understanding autism is really key.
So education is key.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And the more we learn about it,
right,
the better we can support it.
Right. And, when we talk about autism, we're talking about a spectrum.
Oh, yeah, huge.
So it looks different for everyone.
Exactly. There's no one size fits all.
And a lot of people go undiagnosed, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if they're good at masking.
Wow.
They might be struggling, but we don't know.
Because they don't fit that, stereotype,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Of what autism looks like.
Right.
And then we see those consequences we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
If someone's masking so much that their needs aren't met,
right,
that's when it impacts their mental and physical health.
Yes.
Yeah, big time.
And that's where, what was it? Autistic burnout comes in?
Yeah, autistic burnout.
My article talks about that.
It does. So it's like a state of extreme exhaustion.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Both, physically and emotionally, and it's often, brought on by masking, code switching, all that.
So long.
Yeah, for a long time.
It can lead to.
I mean, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Increased sensory sensitivities,
Right, yeah.
difficulty with communication,
Oh, wow.
Social interaction.
It sounds really debilitating.
It can be.
Yeah.
And people misunderstand it,
Oh, yeah, like how?
They think the person's lazy or unmotivated.
Oh, wow.
But in reality, they're just exhausted.
Right, from the effort.
Yeah, from the constant...
For trying to, navigate the world.
Yeah, world that isn't built for them.
And then it's like they withdraw even more.
Right, and that just makes the isolation worse.
Yeah, it's like this domino effect.
And that's where those supportive relationships are so important.
Oh, yeah. Those are key.
Having those people, who understand.
Right, where you can be yourself.
That safe space.
Exactly.
And I guess, when we talk about relationships,
yeah,
code switching, masking, can really make it hard to, build genuine connections.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not really being your true self.
Right. It's like building a relationship on a facade.
Yeah, exactly.
And that can crumble,
Right. It can lead to, I don't know, misunderstandings.
Yeah, resentment, even breakups.
And the other person might not even know what's going on.
Right. They don't realize how much the person is masking.
Wow. So there's this disconnect.
Yeah, big disconnect.
It makes you think about the internal struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Feeling like you can't be yourself.
Right. Even with the people you love.
Yeah.
It's lonely.
So, we talked about education.
Right.
What else can we do?
Well, I think we need to challenge our assumptions about autism,
Okay, what it looks like.
Right, because we have these preconceived notions.
We do, and if someone doesn't fit that image, we don't even consider it.
So we need to broaden our understanding of normal.
Yeah, like what does normal even mean?
There's so many different ways of being, right?
Exactly.
And that means we need to be more flexible.
Oh, for sure.
What do you mean by that?
Well, someone who's not making eye contact
Right.
might still be listening.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who needs a little more time to process information.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they just need a moment,
It doesn't mean they're being rude.
Exactly.
It's about different communication styles.
Yeah, different styles.
That are all okay.
Oh, okay.
And being mindful of sensory stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
If someone's overwhelmed by, loud noises,
Right.
we need to respect that.
Absolutely.
It's not about coddling them. It's about
creating an inclusive environment.
yeah, where everyone feels comfortable.
Yeah, where everyone feels safe.
Yeah.
That's where those autism-friendly environments come in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just about accommodating autistic individuals.
That's about everyone.
It's about a better society for all of us.
Exactly.
So it's like a shift in perspective.
I like that.
Viewing these differences,
Yeah.
not as deficits, but as, variations.
I love that. Variations.
Yeah.
Variations in human experience.
We're all wired differently,
We are.
and that's something to celebrate.
Celebrate, yeah. Not stigmatize.
It makes you wonder,
Yeah.
if we could create that acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
maybe those strategies
Yeah.
wouldn't be so necessary.
That's a good point.
It all starts with understanding.
Understanding, empathy.
Well said, well said.
Okay.
And speaking of understanding,
Okay.
we're going to kind of shift gears a bit
Are we rolling?
in this last part of our deep dive
All right.
to this question that's been on my mind.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this deep dive.
Right.
Individual strategies, societal context,
Right.
the consequences of all this, code switching, masking.
Mm-hmm. It's a...
It is.
Yeah.
But I have one more question that's been really on my mind.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay, so we framed these behaviors
Uh-huh.
as survival mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
To navigate a world that's not always, very welcoming.
Yeah.
But what happens when those mechanisms backfire?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's true, they can be helpful
Right.
in some situations,
Right.
but they can also be really burdensome.
Because you're suppressing yourself.
Yeah, you're hiding who you are.
That's got to take a toll.
It does. It leads to exhaustion, resentment,
Right.
Even a disconnect from your own identity.
Yeah, like you're living a double life.
Exactly. It's exhausting.
So the very things that are supposed to help
Right.
end up creating new challenges.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
And that's why that self-acceptance piece is so important.
Oh, absolutely. The article really hits on that.
Yeah.
Embracing who you are.
Right, and not feeling like you need to change.
You don't have to change to be accepted.
It's not about fitting into that mold.
Right. Create your own mold.
Yeah, create a new mold.
That reflects you.
And that's where those supportive relationships come in.
Oh, yeah. Those are crucial.
Those autism-friendly environments.
Yeah. Finding your people.
So you don't have to mask all the time.
You can just exhale.
Yeah, just be yourself.
And that's when things get good.
Right, because then your true self can come out.
Exactly. Your personality can shine.
It makes you think, how much are we missing out on?
Oh, I know.
Because people feel like they have to hide.
Yeah. There's so much potential out there.
We need a world where everyone feels safe to express themselves.
Absolutely.
Where difference is celebrated.
Not just tolerated.
Yeah, celebrated. I love that.
It's a good world to strive for.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we just, scratched the surface.
Well, there's always more to learn.
Always more. Always more.
Yeah.
But, we want to hear from you.
Absolutely.
What resonated with you?
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
What do you think about creating a more autism-friendly world?
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And until next time,
Until next time.
keep diving deep.
Keep learning.